And welcome to the program, everyone. Great to have you with us. I am your host, Randall White. We should let you know that this hour of Market Fresh is brought to you by the wonderful people at Luna Red Restaurant in downtown San Luis Obispo. In fact, if you've never been there, I highly recommend going. They are all about farm to table, and that's what this show is all about. If you want more information, check them out online. It is lunaredslo.com, and take it from someone who eats there on pretty much a weekly basis. Their menu is amazing. All right, speaking of amazing, our next guest will be featured at the upcoming SAVOR the Central Coast, which, well, we all know how many amazing different events they have for that. Well, two of the big ones, the Colbie Callait concert at Vina Robles, and also the big main events that happen on Saturday and Sunday, prominently feature our next guest here, Chef Nathan Lyon, who will be up from Los Angeles. Welcome to the program, Chef Lyon.
Randall, thank you so much for having me. This is a pleasure.
It's nice to have you back on again. We had you in studio 1 year ago when you were in town for SAVOR, and really enjoyed the experience. And I'm going to just plug it right off the top. Love your book, Great Food Starts Fresh. And you'll be signing copies of this book at the upcoming SAVOR event.
I will. There will actually be 3 different opportunities if you want to take a peek at my cookbook. Both days where I'll be cooking at Chef Central. I'm actually kind of book-ending Chef Central. I start the whole thing off Saturday, September 28th at 11:30, and then I finish the entire day on Sunday between 3:30 and 4:15. And lastly, at the concert, I'll be there with Michael Vitaccio. We'll both have cookbooks to sign too.
That'll be it. What an amazing event. And the new venue there at Vina Robles is just very impressive. And Colbie Callait singing. Great food. You're making some, like a picnic to go sort of thing?
Yeah, I've been working with one of the local catering groups up there to make sure that we both have the same kind of ideas. Because I personally, coming up from Los Angeles, there's no way I can pull off 1,000 different types of
right.
menus for people. So I have to send some recipe ideas and collaborate with people up there. And one thing I will say, Randall, it's very easy when everyone surrounding SAVOR the Central Coast believes in local fresh ingredients. So it's been quite a joy.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about your beliefs, and specifically day 2 up there on Sunday. Your focus will be farm to table. And you hear that thrown around a lot, but what does it mean to you? How do people incorporate that into their very busy lives?
Well, instead of approaching it by saying what most people in America might think of as being a bit difficult, to focus on farm to table, I just say, instead of looking forwards to the answer, let's look back a few 100 years to the answer, where our grandparents would eat local and seasonal. And from my background, which is a health science background, I just think Mother Nature puts everything that you're supposed to be eating in front of you at the time that you're supposed to be eating it, which is why, when it's 100 degrees outside, all those wonderful fruits and vegetables are available for things like a chilling gazpacho. You wouldn't think about making a roast root vegetable risotto because those root vegetables don't come out until late fall and winter when it's cold, when you're supposed to be eating those types of foods. So my whole philosophy being farm to table, it's nothing new, Randall, but what I like to say is when you go to your farmer's market, that's what you should be eating. And in addition, a bonus is those fresh produce items on selection are most tasty. So as a chef, I'm on a quest for the most flavor. They have the most nutrition, and they also cost the least amount of money because all the farmers are growing that same item.
Because they're not being shipped in, which adds costs to it, right? And the competition is great, like you just mentioned. And if it's right at the peak of freshness, that means it is just bountiful at that point. And we know about the law of supply and demand. So all those things work to bring down the price a bit.
Exactly. I mean, just think about when you buy a tomato in the middle of winter, when you buy a peach in the middle of winter, flown in from the south of Chile, it just doesn't have that flavor. It doesn't have the texture because you're not really supposed to be eating those things. You should be eating things that are at the farmer's market on offer from your local farmer.
Now, what about, we're so spoiled here in California, all the way from north to south, with the bounty of vegetables that we get at our farmers market. Many of the farmers, even in Los Angeles and San Francisco, drive in from the Central Valley. So we get such a wide variety. And I have to admit, even somebody like me who hosts a radio show that's all about food, on any given day at the farmer's market, there are several things I have no idea what they are. And I'm not afraid to buy them anymore because I figure, well, what's the worst thing that could happen? I wasted, $1.50 on something I can't pronounce and then brought home and didn't. You know what ends up happening is I bring it home and then I get kind of rushed and I forget to look up online for a way to prepare it. And then it goes bad in the refrigerator, which I feel bad about. But help me stop doing that.
I think your Market Fresh listeners can completely understand, and we've all been there at the farmer's market. We want to kind of expand our culinary vocabulary by trying something new. And that's one of the reasons why I wrote my seasonal cookbook, Great Food Starts Fresh, is because I actually used to work at 4 different farmers markets here in L.A. for 10 years. So I worked for one particular farmer. And the amount of information that I gathered from working with different farmers at those different farmers markets is mind-numbing. And that's what I included in my book, mostly how to pick and store seasonal produce, and then also the information I was able to gather from farmers and the different flavor profiles that they feel that it has, the different feedback they get from their customers. So the great thing about the farmers market isn't just flavor. It isn't just the price. It isn't just the quality. It's the community of people, the community of local chefs, local artisans that gather there to share ideas. And that's one of the best things about farmers markets.
Now, seasonal produce is interesting because, for instance, we are just getting into broccoli season. But yet you've seen broccoli at the farmer's market for months, because of hoop houses and any number of ways that we can now grow. Even strawberries are a great example. You see strawberries at least in the San Luis Obispo area. We have strawberries at our farmers market every month of the year.
Right.
But it's not strawberry season every month of the year. So how does someone educate themselves so that even though it's at their market, you still want to buy the produce when it would naturally be at its peak, right?
Well, that is true, but we do. I think you hit the nail right on the head, Randall. We do have it made here in California. We're quite spoiled. But you also have to keep in mind that if you look at the state of California from the coast all the way inland, just take Santa Barbara, for example, the different climates, microclimates that are just in Santa Barbara County alone. I think there are 12 of them. And if you grow something on the more cool or moist area closest to the water, it's going to be maybe 5, 6, 7 weeks later than over the mountain, where it's a lot cooler and hotter.
Yeah.
So there is quite a variable from south to north and also from west to east. And one of the things I think you were going to touch on is, let's say that you're not living in California. Let's say that you're living in Vermont or Maine, the growing season a lot shorter. One of the things that I share on my television show, which is a PBS show called Growing a Greener World, is use frozen stuff. There's absolutely nothing wrong with frozen vegetables because growing up in the 70s, frozen vegetables were very different when it comes to the integrity. They used to freeze them a lot slower. Now they're flash frozen. So believe it or not, frozen vegetables that are frozen right then and there have better nutrition and better flavor than a vegetable flown or shipped or trucked all the way across the country fresh.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different varieties that we have available to us, whether it's the farmer's market or the grocery store. And I think that's just such a fabulous thing.
You're right about the quality of the frozen vegetables nowadays and fruit as well. It's remarkable. And read your bags when you're buying the frozen stuff. Still try to get it as local as possible because they do freeze stuff even right here in California for the rest of the country. So, Chef Lyon, I had a friend of mine visiting from Wisconsin last, I guess it was February, and we went to Thursday night market in San Luis Obispo, and his head just kept turning. He could not believe what we had available. He's like, "What? Like this? You have this at your market right now, you know?" And so isn't that great? Since we're here, let's take full advantage of it.
It really is great, and I'm sure that all of your listeners of Market Fresh take full advantage of it as well. Because I have been to that Thursday market you're referring to, and it's just such a beautiful thing with the kids running around, all the parents there, the farmers. And again, it's such a beautiful community and a beautiful area of topography, so I can't wait to get back up there and start cooking and sharing.
Yeah, you'll be here in no time at all. The book, Great Food Starts Fresh, by Chef Nathan Lyon. Find him at Savor the Central Coast. Just about every event they have, you'll see Chef Lyon there. And then if you want to learn more, check out chefnathanlyon.com you can get his cookbook there, and all sorts of other information is available via the website. Well, I do wish you the safest of travels, and hopefully I'll be able. Last year I was not able to get to the SAVOR event. This year I'm telling myself no matter what, I'm heading up there to Santa Margarita Ranch to hit it up, because everyone just keeps telling me, "What? You always talk about this, but you haven't been to it." And I said, you know what? I'm going to end that this year. I'm going.
Randall, I will save you many samples and a delicious glass of wine.
Well, thank you. Oh, yeah, that's right. In fact, I believe it's Edna Valley Vineyards that is supplying the wine during both of your cooking events that you have on Saturday and on Sunday. Chef Nathan Lyon, thank you so much.
Randall, it's a pleasure.